Hey guys, wanted to do a quick tutorial here on the Solver Battle Royale draft assistant over on Underdog. I went ahead and joined the draft already. I have my extension loaded up. I have the number 2 pick, so looks like McCaffrey and Jaden Daniels are the top 2 picks here. I'm gonna go ahead and take McCaffrey. I really like having these really strong running backs in um, in this format here. This is the Battle Royale big tournament, which is, I believe, 56,000 entries or 65,000 entries, something like that. So I'll go ahead and hit the settings button right here. You can also bring this up from the little icon at the top right. You can go ahead and see a lot of the different settings here. So I have NFL Battle Royale selected. I have established the run projections. This also works with Underdog and default. We do plan to support other projection sets in the future. Hopefully we can build that out fairly soon. Since this is a really big tournament, I have the team stacking and game stacking a little bit lower on the low end. If this was a $100 or $250 draft, which has a much smaller field, I would probably have these set up much higher. Probably up to like max or high, something like that. But right now I've been playing around with some lower correlation here for some of these extremely large field tournaments. These are 6-man rosters, and you really need to have just the absolute nuts in order to win one of these. So I've been sort of playing with slightly less correlation on these. For flex positions, we have tight end deselected as a default, but you can select this, especially on some smaller slates where there's a lot of strong tight ends. I think it's totally viable. And then a lot of other settings here where you can read through um, what all these do on your own. I'll let you guys do that. So it looks like here we have A-Chain, Josh Jacobs, Trey McBride. I'll go ahead and take Trey McBride here because of ADP. I do think one of A-Chain or Jacobs is probably going to fall to me at 14. So we have the start with McCaffrey, Trey McBride, and then we'll see what else happens here at the next pick. Okay, so next pick here looks like the top 2 plays, A-Chain and Josh Jacobs. I've already done a few drafts and I have a decent bit of A-Chain, so I'll go ahead and take Josh Jacobs here. As we can see, the projection difference is fairly small, so I'll go ahead and take Jacobs. A few things actually that I really want to discuss here. I already talked about the sidebar and all the settings. Now we'll kind of talk about what I think this extension is most useful for. I think one of the biggest things that is useful for is just identifying value in the top plays, obviously because this brings in the projections for you. So that's extremely useful. And then also seeing all the correlation stuff. So here with Kyler Murray, we can see that we already have a tight end drafted on his team. Um, Jackson Smith and Jigba, we see that we have opponent running back drafted. So very easy to see the correlations for stacks and bringbacks. And then the other thing that I think is really helpful is just seeing the ETR projections, especially as we try to get unique in these massive fields later on in the draft. I think it's very helpful to be able to see the projection, to see how many points you're giving up in order um, to get unique. So here looks like we're about to draft over at 23. Best plays here, Kyler, T. Higgins, Mike Evans. Looks like Kyler is a top play. Um, I'm already in a spot where I am looking to get unique here. Mike Evans has fallen way past ADP. I think that's actually probably not a terrible way to get unique. So I'll go ahead and grab him here. Kyler, I think, obviously correlates with Trey McBride, but I think in a format like this where the top, guys with ADP of like, I don't know, 30, 32, like the top 32 ADP guys, like they're getting drafted in almost every single field. So at this point in the draft here, I'm actually less likely to take one of these top overall plays, and I'm looking to just get unique. Like find a way to draft some guys where I'm not giving up a lot of points, but I'm getting something that's going to be very, very unique. So let me just select quarterbacks, for example. Just scrolling down the list here, top projected at about 19. Um, I think I'll probably go and, I don't know, let me experiment with like a Tua stack, for example. So I'll go ahead and grab Tua here. Um, I'm giving up about 3 points, but I'm getting extremely unique. I mean, Tua's ADP is 35.6, whereas Baker and Kyler are going to be owned. And I think Baker is going to be owned in, I don't know, probably like 80% of drafts, 90% of drafts, something like that. Kyler is probably going to be owned in maybe 70% of drafts. Tua, I think, is going to be much, much, much lower than that. So I'm willing to give up 3 points here and go against one of the best plays in order to get extremely unique and a field of 56,000 uh, teams, and especially given that they're only 6 mans. So at this point here, I can just go ahead and type Miami. I can see if there's any good stack candidates for Tua here. So I can see Jalen Waddle at 10.57 points. Some of these top wide receivers that we have here, T. Higgins at 13.89, Jackson Smith and Jigba 11.5, Sutton 12.4, Jerry Jeudy 12.35. I'm really only giving up approximately 3 points here against the top play. I think if I take Higgins here, this team still might be unique because of the fact that it has Tua, but because I have Tua, I'm gonna go ahead and grab Waddle here for the correlation. I do like having some correlation in these big tournaments, especially like something that's gonna be a QB and wide receiver. So I went ahead and grabbed Jalen Waddle here to pair up with Tua. I think this combination is going to be fairly unique, especially given the fact that we also got Mike Evans pretty late. So the combination of McCaffrey, Mike Evans, Josh Jacobs, Trey McBride, and then Tua and Jalen Waddle hopefully is a unique team. So I kind of just wanted to talk through my process here. As I'm going through the draft, I'm much less likely to grab the best plays. I think towards the beginning of the draft, I'm really going to grab the best plays quite a lot of the time and try to get as much value as I can at the beginning of the draft. And then as I get later, down into the draft, I'm trying to get some unique combinations. So, I will probably want to have some Drake May, some Jared Goff, some Purdy, and just get some of these guys that are just not going to be nearly as owned as the top QB choices. At some point here in the near future, we'll also add a variance option that will work somewhat similar to our optimizer that will allow you to just apply some variance to the projections on the back end, and that's going to help you get a little bit more unique as well if you like to use that. But for now, I'm mostly just kind of scrolling down, and I probably will not use the variance option because I like scrolling down and just kind of seeing how many points I'm giving up and making a decision on, oh, I'm willing to give up 2 points here to get like extremely unique, especially if it's like correlated. So I hope this is kind of helpful in how I'm using the tool and how the tool should best be used. If you have any questions, just let us know at support@thesolver.com and we'll be happy to help.